So what will GTA 6 look like? In today's video, we're going to take a look at some of the examples of the aesthetics of the game, alongside technological advancements in the industry, and the most important part, water physics. But before we get into today's video, I'm trying to get to 10,000 subscribers. I'm only 200 subscribers away. As soon as I hit 10k, I'm going to start live streaming on the channel. It's a cool little milestone to reach, especially after only doing this for a few months. So if I can get to 10k subscribers, it will be massively appreciated. So we've all seen the GTA 6 trailer, and we were all really impressed with it. Well, apart from these fringe weirdos here that downvoted the video. Over the past few months, we've seen Take-Two, which is Rockstar's parent company, file so many patents for different forms of technology and AI systems that are looking like they're going to be implemented in GTA 6. This includes things like character animation models, traffic systems, all of which I've covered on this channel in detail. But for this video, I want to make it as concise and informative as possible, so to do that, rather than having potentially a million different variables to make our assumptions on, we need to come up with 3 basic assumptions for us to make predictions for the rest of the video. Assumption number 1 is that Rockstar will utilize all of the filed patents within GTA 6. Assumption 2, the game will feature ray tracing in some capacity. Whether that's global illumination systems or a hybrid solution for reflections, we are going to assume that there's going to be a form of ray tracing. And assumption number 3 is that Rockstar are producing the game to be the most commercially viable game, not necessarily the best performing one. So rather than aiming for high frame rates, they would be aiming for the most impactful visuals. An example of this is they can't have 60 frames per second and a really complex AI systems and the ray tracing, all these other forms of technology that we've seen them claim dibs on the PS5. It would probably work on the PS5 Pro, but on the current PS5 and the current generation of Xbox, it would be stretching the console, making the game potentially drop frames or thermal throttle. So we're going to go off the assumption that they're going to settle for lower frame rates, but higher quality gameplay in itself. Now, when talking about what GTA 6 will look like, the first thing I want to look at is population density and character models. Population density in the trailer is extremely high compared to what we've seen in other Grand Theft Auto games, and for that matter, most games in the industry. Now, it's worth noting that all of these shots in the trailer, apart from the social media shots, were all cutscenes. It's also very important to remember that Sony have a deal with Rockstar Games where all gameplay trailers are shot on Sony consoles. However, a lot of people have failed to notice this only applies to gameplay trailers, not cutscene trailers or the actual physical movie style trailers like we saw in trailer 1. So there's a number of channels on YouTube, such as Mike York, who was a former developer at Rockstar Games, that have spoke about how these trailers are created and what systems are used to create the trailers. So for example, when creating some of these cutscene shots, the rest of the map is turned off. Everything behind that field of view on the camera is non-existent. This makes it far less intensive on the systems they're using to make the trailers, and just makes it a lot easier to render in objects, characters, and obviously increase that range of how far the in-game camera can see. You're basically increasing that draw distance dramatically. So with this shot on the beach, we're either going to see this many NPCs, or we're going to see a slightly reduced number. It all really comes down to how well Rockstar can optimize the game to run on current gen consoles. I don't think it can be stated enough how difficult it is to do this on current gen consoles whilst rendering in the surrounding areas. There's going to have to be some really clever trickery when it comes to draw distances and rendering stuff in that may be that far away. Now the good thing is, I speak for myself and hopefully I speak for you guys as well, Rockstar will find a way to pull it off, but I'm still coming away with the opinion that maybe this population density is purely for a cutscene, and maybe when we go to the beach it will be slightly reduced. Not dramatically, maybe 10 less NPCs that are in this shot, which is still a lot of NPCs. Of course I could be wrong, but we are simply speculating. Next we need to get onto the actual character models themselves. So Rockstar have added a lot of detail to the character models. As we can see from this shot here with Jason's hand, you can see the veins, you can see all the intricate details, and here with the old man outside with the hose, we can see that because he's older, his skin formation is slightly different. You can actually see intricate details like sagging skin, fat around the back of the legs, all of that stuff. Rockstar have put a lot of detail into each individual character model. That, alongside all of the different shapes and sizes that we can see in the game, will make the world just that much more believable. Now, of course, I can't talk about all of this without talking about the jiggle physics. Rockstar have made human bodies behave like human bodies. I'm not sure how they've done this, maybe this is linked to one of their AI patents, but the movement of bodies just looks way more believable and natural. And the same can be applied to hair as well. The movement of hair is clearly something that they've taken from Red Dead Redemption 2 and expanded upon. It is just so realistic. Next, I want to talk about vehicles. So in every previous GTA trailer we've ever seen, the trailers have always been a little bit behind with the vehicles that we get in the game. So for example, in the GTA 5 trailer, they used the GTA 4 police cars. And as we can see from the GTA 6 trailer, there's a lot of duplicate models from GTA 5. There are of course some new ones and some variations of existing models, but they've added some some new vehicles that just make it look a little bit more up to date and futuristic. I think it's fair to say that when we get the game, we're going to see this turned up to 100. We're going to have way more models and way more updated vehicles. Now, of course, some of the vehicles that we saw in the trailer are currently on GTA Online, and I think this is a good testing ground for Rockstar to put the vehicles in their platform to see if people like it, if people enjoy it, if people can use it easily. If no one's buying it, no one's interested in it, then it probably will get pulled from GTA 6. But the other thing is vehicle customization. We can see that there's many different variations of ride height, wheel offset, camber. We're seeing so many different variations of vehicle modifications, plus the inclusion of wrapping. And on previous GTAs you could paint the cars, but now we can actually wrap them. As we can see from this scene here, there's Vice Vinyl, which appears to be an in-game wrapping company. This vinyl here has a sparkly fleck in it. So clearly Rockstar have listened to us when we've said we want more customization options for the vehicles. GTA 5 was a massive leap ahead in the industry. I think the car modifications in GTA 6 will probably be competitive with games like Forza. Now I'm going to skip over boats because I've done full videos dedicated to boats in GTA 6, so you can check that out if you want to on the channel. Just go to my channel and search for boats. The next thing I want to talk about is the polished graphics. Now, I've seen some people argue this, and I would urge people to go back and watch the original GTA 5 trailer. So with the first GTA 5 trailer, there's certain scenes that were just totally missing. Like as cars went past, the background wasn't rendered in. Models were much lower poly counts than what we got in the actual game themselves. The GTA 5 trailer 1 was massively behind where GTA 5 was when it was released. It's also worth noting that when the GTA 5 first trailer came out, the game was scheduled for a release a year after. But what actually ended up happening is the game was delayed even further to the end of 2013. So there's always going to be a disparity between the trailers and what we get in the game. What we saw in the trailer was probably where the game engine was in early 2023, whereas where the game is now is probably way more advanced beyond that. And when we actually finally get the game, I think it will be even more perfected and beyond that. As we know from recent reports, Rockstar is now going into the final stages of development for GTA 6, which is usually the polishing phase. And the polishing phase is literally tidying up graphics, tidying up character models, working on things like ray tracing and global illumination, making sure that shadows are shadows, highlights are highlights. And that's something that we did see in the trailer. The actual difference between the highlights and the shadows was much further apart. We were able to see pure white reflections coming off the back of vehicles. Reflections behaved way more akin to how they would in real life. Like this shot here could be taken from Google Street View. It's insanely realistic. And in this final polishing phase is where Rockstar will get things up to scratch and just bring them up to that 100%. Now before we get onto weather systems and water physics, I want to say a massive thank you to today's video sponsor, Private Internet Access. Private Internet Access allows you to change your location to one of their 91 countries and 50 US states. Now, if you're a gamer in the US, having a localized state where you can ping your location to whilst gaming is really important because you're reducing that ping time. This not only allows faster internet speeds and complete privacy, but it also allows you to access geo-locked content and DLC. Some games developers will make DLC only available in certain countries, whether that's due to country restrictions. Some DLC on some games is geo-locked to certain locations. Now, an extended benefit is also that one subscription works on all of your devices at home. You don't need additional subscriptions to make this work on your phone as well as your laptop or your computer. This can work on any of your devices, whether it's Android, Apple, Linux, it works on everything. So using my link down below, you can save yourself 83% off, which is only $2.03 a month. And you also get 4 months completely free. I use Private Internet Access on every single one of my devices. Of course, I like to be anonymous, it's very obvious. And having that peace of mind that no one can grab my IP address by sending me dodgy links or anything honestly makes me doing this so much easier. It's such a cool tool at such an affordable price. Click the link down below to go and check them out, and of course it supports the channel when you do so. Now with the weather, we know where Florida is and where Vice City is going to be geographically located. It is very open to adverse weather systems, things like hurricanes, torrential downpours. Two people can be a mile apart from each other and be experiencing completely different weather. Now a lot of analysts and YouTubers like myself have come to the conclusion that they're probably not going to include hurricanes in GTA 6, mainly down to console limitations, time constraints, and a lot of other factors. I have covered this in detail in other videos, but I do think we will still see a vast array of weather, and I think we will see extremely torrential downpours, and we'll see the environment around us behave in that way. Now, in my opinion, what we saw from the trailer, the game will look beautiful, but I can't wait to see it in the rain. Seeing those water reflections, the droplets, the way that light bounces from neon lights off the ground up into your perspective as a player playing the game, I cannot wait for this. And this is a concept that's been played with by a lot of YouTubers. For example, Game for Life, he does a lot of videos with GTA 5 with insane amounts of mods on them that look incredible. And I think this is the closest thing we've seen to what GTA 6 will look like. Now, of course, it's on a completely different game engine and GTA 6 will look vastly better, but this is a really good attempt to show what is possible with ray tracing. And talking about rain and water, I want to then talk about something that not a lot of people have covered about the trailer, which is the way that water behaves. Like when vehicles drive through mud and we get a bow wake from the mud, and when vehicles drive past and the water splashes up, it feels like the vehicle's in the water rather than the water just behaving around the vehicle. It seems like the vehicle and the water and the mud all become one together. And the same can be applied for this opening shot here. The way that boats behave, the way the wakes look realistic coming off the boat, the way that the spray coming off the front of these boats going past the big container ship. Obviously, a few years ago, Rockstar Games had a job listing up trying to employ someone that has a speciality in water dynamics and water physics, and whoever they employed was clearly very good at their job because the water just behaves so much more realistically in the trailer. And assuming that we're going to get like a 2 to 3% increase on that quality for the final game release, that's going to look insane. Now, of course, there's a lot more to unpack about GTA 6. Feel free to check out any of my other videos. I've done videos covering AI systems, character models, how new technology in GTA 6 will work. I've pretty much covered like 90% of the topics to do with GTA 6. So please feel free to check out all the content on the channel. Hopefully it will give you a bit more information. Maybe you'll be able to find a video on a topic that's more specific to what you're looking for. If there is a topic you'd like to learn more about and I haven't covered it in a video, there's a video ideas tab on my Discord where you can drop all of your ideas and suggestions. Thank you all for watching today's video, and a massive thank you to Private Internet Access for sponsoring this video. Their links are all down below. So thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.